Welcome to week one of Knowing Your Numbers. So, as I explained in the introductory, I'm a management accountant, so I look at the numbers slightly different than the accountant you're probably used to working with, the compliance accountant, at the end of the year. So I want to go through some of the things that you should be doing as a matter of course, regardless of who you're working with or what stage you are in business. You should have these basics in your business right now. So the first one, I hope, is not news to you. It does sometimes surprise me when I go and I work with different businesses that are bigger, smaller, all different sizes, that often there are some sort of the basic mistakes that haven't been implemented in their business. So that's why I'm starting off at the very beginning here. And the number one is getting your bank account. So getting a business bank account or an account that you have for your business only. If you're a sole trader, you may use an account that you have already in existence, but you can only put your business expenses in there. That makes your bookkeeping, your accounts, everything at year end much easier to track if it's all in the one place, and that's only in one place. If you're a limited company, this is probably a moot point because you would have had to open up a bank account in the name of your business anyway. But it's just to make sure that there's nothing else going into your business account other than business expenses. Just makes the accounting side of it much cleaner. So that's number one. The second thing, and I'll talk about this a little bit broader, is bookkeeping. Now, I don't mind, you can do this yourself or you can outsource it. It's not about who does the actual transactions. It's about getting it up to date on a weekly basis. It needs to be done on a weekly basis. If you're in Ireland, based in Ireland like I am, you're probably registered for VAT, so you have to do your bookkeeping every 2 months anyway. But I want you to up that to every week. If you're outsourcing it, get your bookkeeper. It should not be any additional cost to you. You should get your bookkeeper to update the books every week, and you should be checking in on them. Stay tuned for later episodes, and I'll be telling you exactly what to be looking for with when you're looking into your accounts. So, weekly bookkeeping. Why would you want to do this? You want the information in your business as up to date as possible because you want to track everything as quickly and get reporting as soon as possible. You want to avoid keeping things in your head because the more things we try and keep in our heads get overloaded. And you can get that can add, if you're stressing about something, getting work done or paying bills or something like that, and you're holding too much in your head, it just gets a little bit hectic and causes anxiety in your business. And we want to avoid that wherever we can. So by doing your accounts weekly, it's fresh in your mind, you're looking at the information and you're looking at it for a second or maybe third time. So you were involved in the transaction, you're recording the transaction, and then you're reviewing the transaction. So 2 or 3 times you're looking at this information. So it will start to stick in your brain, the different part of your brain that you can use for information. Now, how to set up a bookkeeping practice if you haven't already. Now I will put a link in the notes. I do have a Bookkeeping Made Simple course. It's very inexpensive and it just is a 101 on how to set up a bookkeeping system. If you haven't got one already, I recommend that you go and get this. It's on Excel spreadsheet, so there's no additional cost, and it's the cheapest and the most simplest version of bookkeeping. And really it just shows you what information to keep in your sales, what information to keep in Excel, and how to kind of make it work for you on a weekly basis. You should be spending 20 to half an hour on your bookkeeping every week, either updating it and reviewing, looking at it. I'm all about building a relationship with your numbers. building a relationship with numbers, and taking the anxiety and the mystery out of those numbers, because bookkeeping is a process you can learn. So if you struggle with bookkeeping or the numbers or money, you struggle with that element of your business, by learning a simple process, the ABC of bookkeeping, that will give your mind something to occupy itself while you're working out, keeping track of things. And the more you do that, the less daunting it becomes. And then you're able to look at the numbers in themselves as information. So either go and look at the bookkeeping made simple, or go and speak to your accountant and ask them if they have a bookkeeper on their books. No, most of them do, and ask them if they have a bookkeeper that you can use on a weekly basis to get your bookkeeping up to date. Normally your accountant will have a system that they favor, and you will just sign on to that. Most accounting packages are in the cloud, and you will have to pay a monthly subscription, but it's not prohibitive. And you use their bookkeeper, and you get the information to them. Do allow a little time to get the rhythm right. There are always teething issues when it comes to new systems, and just bear with it for a few weeks. Find out what your bookkeeper needs from you, and how the ease of supply and getting that information to them. But it is worth sticking with, because eventually that half an hour that you had, they're taking on that half an hour or an hour, as it might be, for them to do the bookkeeping. But you're still going to use that 20 minutes to 30 minutes to review what they've done. And the more you review and look at it, the more relationship that you're building, and the better it is that you will understand your numbers in your business. The third thing is about money. And a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with and I meet at networking events shy away from the numbers in their business because it has something to do with money. And money, we're not really taught how to deal with money in school, or and some of us might have negative beliefs around money, or we just don't really think we have to work, we're worth getting it on getting it easy. And I would encourage you, as a business owner, as somebody who is working for themselves and working on themselves, that your beliefs around money, you need to understand them, open up to them and understand them. Because if you have not been able to manage money in your personal life and in your day-to-day life, it's going to be highlighted in a business. So if you're somebody who has come from a payment corporate kind of job role where you got payment every week or every month, you are guaranteed that money. A business is different. You don't always know when you're going to get paid. You do need to have reserve money put away for those months that you've to still pay your mortgage, your bills and all the rest, but you may not have been received all of the sales payment that you were expecting. So we'll go into a little bit of all of this, but you do need to understand what type of money person you are. And if you do have blocks, we all have money blocks, because money is very emotional to all of us. And just understanding what your money block is and what you feel about money. Now, I'm going to just recommend, and I'll put these in the notes as well. I'm just going to recommend 2 books, and they're a little bit different for the different type of person in this. It's back to front on there. So it is called It's Not About the Money by Brent Kessel. And in this, he talks about the different types of money people that we are, and the pros and cons, and how we address it and move away from our hang-ups about money. This is quite a read. There is a lot of information for the academics in us that like the actual, the information and have a lot to read. This is the book for you. With the same kind of theme, has the same theme of information as the Brent Kessel book. However, there's a lot more stories and a lot more tasks and a lot more. It's all broken down a little bit more, but the themes are more or less the same, slightly different wording, but there is that kind of the different types are the same. So the Prosperous Heart, you might know Julie Cameron from The Artist's Way. There are courses on this as well. I will leave a link to a particular colleague of mine that runs these courses. I will leave that in the notes as well. And so these are good if you haven't looked into your money beliefs and your how you feel about money and how it might be coming up in your day to day. Have a look at those books, and they're a great starting place. But you will need to have a look at what your beliefs are before you can move forward. And as you move forward, I always think that, when I started my own business, I'm from a corporate world for years and years, and I've been in business now for 3 years. And if you never start a business to get away from yourself, because you are right there, and problems or issues that you may have had in the past are up front and center when you start your own business, and you have to deal with them. So if you've had money issues or you have that fear around the numbers, number one, I want to tell you, you're in the right place. So thank you for watching. But also, lots of people have them, and we can start off with the process. And that's why, as a management accountant, I like to start off with the process of, well, what is the ABC of bookkeeping? Let's just get that out of the way and into a system in our business. And then we can start looking at, simultaneously, we can start looking at what it means and the reviewing side, which is really, really important. But we will start with the process. So thank you so much for listening to me. Next week, I'm going to look at the information that you get from your accountant. So again, I'm based in Ireland. If you're based in Ireland and you're a solopreneur, you will probably have done your tax return. If you're self-employed, you will have done your tax return probably in the last month. If you're a limited company, you will and your year end is December, you will probably have done your tax returns in the last few months as well. So I want you to dig out those reports that your compliance accountant sent you, and we're going to run through just what each of them are and why you should not put them away in a folder and never to be looked at again. We'll just look at some of the information that you can get from them. So thank you so much for listening. Do share this with your business besties and people who you think will benefit from taking the fear out of numbers and running their business by knowing their numbers. And thank you so much, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.